Welcome back. Hey guys, it's Rishi once again, and today we're back with expanding and factorizing quadratics. So with this topic, we're focusing on the grade 5 GCSE level, and this is around your algebraic expressions. So at this stage, you should have some level of understanding in expanding and factorizing, as well as working with quadratics. So letters can be used to stand for unknown values or values that can change. And formulas can be written and equations solved to find solutions to a range of problems in maths, science, and engineering. But in this video, I'll be going through expanding double brackets as well as factorizing your quadratics. So let's dive in right away and let's get started. So question number 1. This is now telling us to expand and simplify. Again, where we have two brackets next to each other, this means that the brackets need to be multiplied together. So what that basically means here is we have x plus 7 multiplied by x minus 3. And remember, when expanding your double brackets, every term in the first bracket has to be multiplied by every term in the second bracket. And it is helpful to always multiply the terms in order so none are forgotten. One common method that I use is the FOIL method. And again, that is F for first, outside, and then the inside is last. So let's see how that works. Well, remember, we need to multiply the first items in the bracket. And that again is your x multiplied by x, which gives us x squared. And then we have to multiply the terms that are on the outside of the bracket. So again, we have our x multiplied by our minus 3, which gives us minus 3x. And then we go back to multiply the terms of the inside of the brackets. So again, 7 times x is your 7x. And then again, we'll multiply the last term in the bracket. And that's again 7 multiplied by minus 3, which is minus 21. So altogether, we have x squared minus 3x plus 7x and minus 21. So again, what have I done? I multiplied the first item in the bracket. I then went on the outside of that bracket, which was then x times minus 3. Before multiplying the inside of the next number, which was 7 times x, and that's 7 times x here, and then the last, which is your 7 times minus 3. And that's the method that I will be using. So remember, that's now expanded. We now need to go ahead and simplify this. So again, what we are going to do here is collect our like terms. And again, what are like terms? Like terms are those numbers or even variables that are very much the same. So again, as you can see, we have minus 3x and a 7x, which is a mixture of both a number and a variable. So we can go ahead and incorporate that together. So then we'll have x squared, and we'll have minus 21, which will remain as it is. But when we have minus 3x plus 7x, that will give us 4x. And remember, all we're doing is simply having minus 3 plus 7, which gives us 4x. Okay, so now we can write x squared plus 4x minus 21, and that is question 1 completed. I hope that was clear. Let's now move into 2a. So expand and simplify, again, another range of 2 brackets. So let's go ahead, zoom in, and work on this. I'm going to keep the foil at the top so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to use 2 colors now. Let's start off with the black. So I'm going to take my first variable, and that's 2p, and I'm going to multiply this with the p. So that's my first. So now that will give me 2p squared. I'm then going to go on the outside, 2p times minus 5, which give me minus 10p. And then I'm going to get the color red, and we're going to go from minus 3, which is your inside, to p, so that's minus 3p. And then from minus 3 to the last, Minus 3 times minus 5, we know we have two negatives. That gives us a positive, and that will be plus 15. So now I've gone ahead and done that. I can simply go ahead and simplify this. So again, I'm going to collect my like terms. Now for this sake, we know that the two middle values here have both a number and the same variable, which is p. So then I'll calculate minus 10, take away 3. Again, the number is going to get smaller, so we'll have minus 13p. So all in all, I need to write this out as 2p squared minus 13p plus 15. And that again is using the FOIL method. Okay, now we're faced with a factorized question. So now when you're factorizing quadratics, in a quadratic expression, the highest power of x would be x squared. So again, the highest power of x will be x squared. And a quadratic expression can sometimes be factorized into two brackets, and that would be in the form of x plus a and x plus b, where a and b can be any term. It can be positive, negative, or even 0. And again, remember, a and b can be found by using a product. Remember, your product means multiplication, or the sum, which means addition. So as you've just seen in the previous two questions, I've expanded and simplified an equation, and that's given me my answers here. So factorizing is merely the reverse process of expanding brackets. So again, if we were to factorize our answers, which could be either this one here or the second one, we would then revert back to the beginning of the question that we were given. So let's take a look at how that works. And remember, there's a couple of different ways as well that we can do this. So the first thing we need to do here is use the AC method. Now remember, when you're working with quadratics, we're following the ax squared plus bx plus c formula. This is your quadratic formula here. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply your a and your c value. So as a hasn't got a coefficient, we're going to consider a to be 1. So that will be a times c. 1 times 36 gives us 36. I then need to find a pair of numbers that can multiply to make c and add to make b. So again, let's write that out. We can have 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, and 6 and 6, as well as 1 and 36. So now these are my factor pairs, and I need to again work out one pair that can multiply to make 36 and add to make 15. So out of those, you can see that we have 3 and 12. Again, 3 times 12 is 36, and 3 plus 12 is 15. And because we have an a squared, that means we have two occurrences of a. So now I can simply write down a in two brackets here, and we'll have plus 3 and plus 12. And that's our answer. So what have I done? I've taken out my AC method. I've multiplied it together to get my answer, which is 36. And I've found a pair of factors that satisfy two statements. One, which is that it should multiply to make C, which is my 36, and one that will add to make B. And as I mentioned before, that factorizing is merely the reverse process of expanding brackets. So now you can see that our answer is a plus 3 and a plus 12. And that again, if you see, is similar to what we had started off with in question 2a and in question 1. I hope that was clear. Let's now move over to 3a. Again, let's go ahead and expand and simplify. So again, using our FOIL method here, let's go ahead and do this. We'll have x times x, which is x squared. We'll then do our outside here, which is minus 3x. We'll then do 3 times x, which is our inside. And then 3 times minus 3, which is minus 9. Again, you can see we'll collect our like terms. So that's your expand done. And now we'll go to simplify here. And we can simply write down x squared minus 9 because a negative and a plus will simply cancel this out. So we now know our answer is x squared minus 9. Okay, let's now move over to factorizing. So again, with factorizing, we'll label it as A, B, and C. We need to do our AC method here. So I'll simply have 1 times 7 equals 7. And then I need the factors of 7, which is 1 and 7. So now I know 1 times 7 equals C, and 1 plus 7 equals B, which is 8. We know we have two x's here, so we can simply write that out here, and then we can write out our 1 and our 7. Remember now, they must be two negatives, because when we multiply two negatives, it should give us a positive C, and that's what it's done here. So now we know our answer will be x minus 1 and x minus 7. And there we are. Again, feel free to pause the video at any time, attempt the question, and then press play to see if you've got the same working out and the same explanation. If you've got the same answer. Wonderful. Question number 4. Again, we'll go ahead and expand this out. So again, m times m is your m squared. M times 4 is your 4m. 3 times m is 3m. And 3 times 4 is 12. And you can now see we have our like terms in the middle, which then give us m squared plus 7m plus 12. And there we are. Okay, let's move over to 5a. Again, we're going to expand this out. So 2x times 3x gives us 6x squared. 2x times minus 1 is minus 2x. 3 times 3x is your 9x. And 3 times minus 1 is your minus 3. Again, we have our like terms in the center here. And we can write down 7x as minus 2 plus 9 is 7. So let's write out 6x squared minus 7x minus 3. And there we are. Okay, back to our AC method here. Again, we need to multiply out our A and our C. Remember now there's two x's. So if you wish, you can simply write out two brackets here with your x. Let's go ahead and multiply these together. So we get 25. And now remember, we need two numbers to multiply to make 25 and add to make 10. Again, we can have 1 times 25 or 5 times 5. Again, we know 5 plus 5 is 10 and 5 times 5 is 25. We also know it's a positive 25. So all we need to simply do is write a plus 5 in both of our brackets and we are good to go. Okay, let's move over to question 6a. Again, I'm going to pause the video here, allow you to attempt the question, and then we'll go through the solution. Okay, let's go through this. So what do we do first? We started off by multiplying 4y and 2y, which is 8y squared, and 4y and minus 3, which is your minus 12y. We then have 3 times your 2y, which is your 6y, and 3 times minus 3, which is minus 9. We can go ahead and collect like terms. So we know minus 12 plus 6y is your minus 6y, and we can write that out. Marvelous. And then for factorizing, again, we're going to multiply out our A and our C. We know it's going to be two brackets here with x at the beginning. And so we can get 6 here. And we now need two numbers that can add to make 7. So we already know 1 times 6 is 6 and 1 plus 6 is 7. And because it's a positive 6, we can add 1 and add 6 and we're good to go. Okay, question number 7. Again, pause the video at any stage, attempt the question, and then press play. But as the momentum is ongoing, as we're in the momentum, let's keep on going. So we have x times x is x squared. X times minus 9 is minus 9x. Minus 2 times x is minus 2x. And minus 2 times 9, remember two negatives give you a positive, and that will be 18. We can then go ahead and add our like terms, which gives us minus 11x. And that goes x squared minus 11x plus 18. And we're good to go. Marvelous. Let's go for another example here. Let's go for 5h times h, which is our 5h squared. 5h times 4, which is 20h. 2 times h, which is plus 2h. And then 2 times 4, which is plus 8. Again, very simple process. Add up your like terms. That's 22h. So we're now left with 5h squared plus 22h plus 8. But hey, now for part B, we're factorizing x squared minus 49. So what do we do in this instance here? Well, we know we have two x's. So again, we can write out our brackets here. But now we need to simply find out two numbers that can multiply to give us 49. Well, we know 7 times 7 is 49. So we can simply write down 7. But then it should also give us a minus 49. So we know one must be a positive and one must be a negative, because a positive and a negative will give us a negative. Okay, let's go for question number 9. So again, expanding and simplifying all over again. 3x and 2x is your 6x squared. Then we have a 3x and minus 3, which gives us minus 9x. We have minus 5 times 2x, which is your minus 10x, and minus 5 times minus 3, which is your plus 15, because it's two negatives. We'll then put like terms together, which will give us minus 19x. And we can write down 6x squared minus 19x and plus 15. And then likewise, instead of the x, we've now been given an n. So we can again multiply out the a and c. And that gives us minus 18. We know we need 2 that will add to give us minus 3. So again, we can have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, or 3 and 6. We're going to go for 3 and 6 here. We're going to have our two brackets. And let's write out our 6 and our 3. But again, remember, as we need to add them to get minus 3, we're going to have a plus 3 and a minus 6. Because 3 minus 6 gives us minus 3. And there we are. Okay, I'm now going to pause the video here. I'm going to allow you to attempt question 10, 11, and 12 before then showing you the answers. Please begin. Okay, if we're ready to go through the solutions, let's go ahead. And there we are. And that is your solutions. So again, take a look at the process that I've taken and check through your answers. I hope those 3 questions were clear. Let's now move over to the next set of 3 questions here. Again, I'm going to give you some time to complete them before we go through our answers. And you may begin. Let's go. Okay, let's now go through the solutions here. Okay, and there we have your answers. Once again, feel free to check through your answers to see if they all make sense. And if you've done a step slightly different, check to see what it was and where you went wrong. I hope these questions are really helping you guys. Remember, practice makes improvement, so keep up the great work. And now let's move to another set of 3 questions here, 16, 17, and 18. Please feel free to pause the video now and let's get started. Okay, let's go through the solutions here. Okay, and there are the answers for the set of 3 questions. I hope once again these questions were clear. And I hope you're getting used to the process now and the steps to take when you're both expanding and factorizing. Okay, we're going for the final set of 3 questions here now, 19, 20, and 21. And for these, I'm going to go through these together now. Okay, for question 19, let's go ahead and factorize. So once again, we have our AC method, where we do m times minus 30, which gives us minus 30. I then list out my factors, and then I need to also add these factors together to get a minus m and multiply to get a minus 30. Now we know if we have a plus 5 and a minus 6, so 5 minus 6 gives us minus 1, and that again would be the same as minus m. So we can go ahead and put that in our brackets here, and that will be m plus 5 and m minus 6. And there we are. Okay, let's go for question 20a. Again, we'll have 5a times 2a, that's 10a squared. 5a times minus 7, and that's minus 35a. Minus 1 times 2a, and that's minus 2a. And then minus 1 times minus 7, that's your plus 7. We'll then put the like terms together, which will give us minus 37a, and put that all together here. And there we are. Okay, moving over to part B. Again, we know we'll have two brackets open with b in them, and we need to make 144 somehow. So we know that's 12 times 12. So again, we'll put a plus 12 here and a minus 12 here, because a plus and a minus will give us a minus. And that's minus 144. Okay, moving over to the final question here. Again, 7x times x is 7x squared. 7x times 5 is plus 35x. 1 times x is going to be your x, and 1 times 5 is your 5. Let's go ahead and add the like terms, and that gives us 36x, and we can now write that out as our answer. And there we are. Marvelous. And then finally, when we're factorizing, again, we will multiply a and c. We'll write down the factors of 30. And remember now, out of these factors here, we need to add it up to get 13. And again, I'm going to choose 10 and 3. So now we know we're going to have two brackets, y plus 3 and y plus 10. Again, there are going to be two positives because our c is a plus 30. And there we are. And that there brings us to the end of our session. I hope this range of questions have been very useful. I hope you can see how letters can be used to stand for unknown values or values that can change. We've gone through a range of different questions now, both covering the expanding double brackets using our method FOIL, first, outside, in, last, as well as our factorizing quadratics, where the highest power of x is x squared. Don't forget, practice makes improvement. Make it a habit. Even if you spent 5 minutes on this video, it's absolutely fine. As long as you've come and you've learnt something, that's the key takeaway here. So keep up the great work. Don't forget to share and subscribe to our channel, so then you can be notified when a new video is uploaded. Keep up the great work, and I'll see you in the next one.